I'll call the meeting to order. Cindy, you're on.
Good evening and thank you for joining. I would ask that all devices be turned off or silenced. Tonight's meeting is a public meeting held under the Planning Act and is being live streamed to Township's YouTube page. Collection of personal information as a result of the public meeting is under the authority of the Planning Act and will be used to assist in making a decision on these matters. Persons speaking at the meeting are requested to give their names and address for recording in the minutes. All names, addresses, opinions, and comments may be collected and may form part of the minutes, which will be available to the public. Additionally, interested members of the public can email the clerk or the Development Services Department if they wish to be notified regarding a particular application. Questions regarding this collection should be forwarded to the Development Services Department. Tonight's meeting is to consider public meeting reports. These reports contain a staff recommendation, and the recommendation is typically to approve with conditions, defer the application, or to deny. After the planner's presentation, committee members will be able to ask questions of staff, followed by members of the public. Following the question and answer period, this committee then makes a recommendation of the applications to approve, defer, or deny. Following committee's decision, notice will be circulated in accordance with the Planning Act. If a specified person or public body would otherwise have the ability to appeal the decision of the committee to the Ontario Land Tribunal, but the specified person or public body does not make an oral submission at the public meeting or make a written submission to the Township of Stone Mills before the application is provisionally approved, the specified person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision.
Thank you, Cindy. I welcome Amy and Holly to our meeting tonight. This is the inaugural one for you two people from Arcaitis. On behalf of the Committee of Adjustment, I welcome you to our midst. I'd ask for approval of the agenda. Moved by Bob, seconded by Aaron. Any additions or deletions? Discussion arising? All those in favor? Carried. Declarations of conflict of interest, general nature thereof. Is there any? Yes, Aaron?
I'm going to declare a conflict. You'll have to forgive me, Brandy, I don't have the number in front of me, but the Weiss application. I own property within the circulation area, so I'm going to declare a conflict.
Let the record show that Aaron has declared a conflict of interest. Adoption of the minutes of July the 8th. That was our short meeting. Mover, Aaron, thank you. Seconder, Peter, thank you. Any discussion, errors, or omissions? All those in favor? Carried. Severance application, B12-2023, Brant, unaddressed Hinch Road. Amy, do you want to give us a little preamble on that, please?
I will. Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. So file B12 2023 is an application for consent to sever an approximately 35-hectare property that is currently zoned as rural. It's an unaddressed property on Hinch Road. It's located approximately 6 kilometers west of the hamlet of Strathcona, just west of Ratty Road. The purpose for the lot's creation is to allow for a future residential development on the severed property. The property is approximately 35 hectares in size and maintains approximately 173 meters along Hinch Road, which is a municipal township road, and it is currently vacant. As I mentioned, it's currently zoned as rural, but it's also designated rural by Schedule A of the county official plan, and a portion of the property is within the provincially significant wetland overlay shown on Schedule B of the county official plan. A portion of the subject property is also covered by Schedule C of the county official plan with selected bedrock area. Within the municipal township official plan, it is currently designated rural, and provincially significant wetlands by Schedule A with a bedrock resource overlay. Schedule B of your township official plan further delineates the EPA provincially significant wetlands, which are located off the proposed severed parcel area. So there's no significant wetlands on the proposed parcel that is to be severed and to be developed with a residential dwelling in the future. Schedule C, which is your source protection schedule of the official plan, does not identify any high-risk areas or features on or adjacent to the subject property. So the applicant is proposing to create one separate parcel from the subject property. The proposed separate parcel is to be approximately 1 hectare in size and will maintain approximately 61 meters of frontage on Hinch Road. And it is anticipated to be developed with a residential use in the future. The proposed retained parcel is going to be approximately 34 hectares in area with 112 meters of frontage on Hinch Road. And at this time, there's no development or activity proposed for that retained piece of property. This application did receive conditional approval via delegated authority back in September of 2022, but the Quinte Conservation Authority had some concerns and requested that a karst study be undertaken. They requested deferral at that time, and a karst topography review report was prepared by the applicant, retained a professional. It was submitted to the Quinte Conservation Authority. It's been reviewed by the Conservation Authority, and they are satisfied and no longer have any concerns with the processing of this consent application. There are some conditions tied to acknowledgement of potential permits if they do go outside of the proposed development area. And in the report, you'll see that the karst review report did identify the location of the proposed house footprint and on the proposed lot. So again, the Quinte Conservation Authority is satisfied with the findings, providing that in the future, the house is to be built within that identified area. It is our opinion that the proposed lot creation is consistent with the policies of the provincial planning statement, and it conforms to the policies of your county and township OP, and it complies and meets the requirement of the township zoning bylaw. And I can certainly go into all the policies. We included quite a few in the report, but I think the key ones to point out is that based on our review, we believe it complies with your source protection and new lot creation policies and the requirements for minimum distance separation between active farming lots that have barns that are inhabited or could be inhabited by livestock. The application was circulated to all the various ministries, the county and internal departments and the Conservation Authority, and in forming our opinion and review of this application, we considered those comments, and the key ones we received were from the county, from the Quinte Conservation Authority, the Ministry of Mines, and township staff. As I mentioned, I won't go through all the various policies, but we're happy to speak to any of those pieces of the review. And it is our recommendation that the requested consent application be approved. We believe it does have regard to the matters set out in subsection 5124 of the Planning Act. It's consistent with the general purpose and intent of the county official plan as well as the township official plan, and complies to the requirements of the zoning bylaw. There are 16 conditions attached to recommended conditions of approval. All of them are quite standard. One does come in from the Quinte Conservation Authority due to the presence of karst on portions of the site, which is outside of the proposed development area, as I mentioned. And one other slightly different condition that we did add in is that as part of the deed and the survey and to be provided, we want confirmation that the proposed severed lot is in fact at least 1 hectare in size. The diagram of the survey shows that it's plus or minus 1 hectare, and then if you multiply the dimensions, it rounds down. So I just want to make sure as part of the applicant, because if not, then there will be some adjustments and a minor variance would be required. So that's just an additional condition that we added in just to confirm that the survey does in fact meet the requirement of the policies of the OP and the zoning bylaw for a minimum of 1 hectare.
Committee members have any questions? Yes, dear.
I'm glad that you caught that math error, because I just caught it too, that
Did
it
you?
isn't
Okay.
1 hectare. Very good. Appreciate that.
Okay.
Anyone else? Mr. Carroll, do you have any concerns or questions?
Yeah, it's been a long process, and I've actually paid most of the fees for the severance twice. Could I get the fees for the first application refunded in part, at least?
I guess that would be a decision of council, not us.
Okay.
So if you can take your request to council.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Right, Jason?
Mr. Chair?
Brandy?
May I, through you, Mr. Chair, if you come in and discuss this with staff, we can provide you direction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you just come in during business hours, if you want to come in tomorrow, 8:30 to 4:30.
Okay, then. Thank you. I have no other inquiries.
Okay, we need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Bob, seconded by Aaron. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Carried.
Thank you very much.
Next one is CON-25. I just lost it. We're not even in the right.
You're not on the right meeting. What happened
Way back in square one again. Right there. CON 2025-0014, hay bale, sand and gravel. This one is a lot addition. Go ahead, Amy.
Okay, three, Mr. Chair. Yes, this application, 2025-0014, is an application to consent to sever a small portion of approximately a small portion of a very large 35-hectare rural zoned property on County Road 4 with the purpose of enlarging the adjacent parcel, which is known as 6267 County Road 4. Both the receiving parcel and the parcel that is proposed to be severed is owned by the same person, under the same ownership. The location of the property is just over half a kilometer south of Tamworth. Okay, so the subject property is currently designated rural by the county official plan, and a portion of the subject property is within the selected sand and gravel resource area and on Schedule C. It is also zoned or designated under Schedule D of the county official plan because it is on a county road, number 4. So it's a rural arterial county road. It is currently zoned it's currently designated by the township as rural and licensed pits and quarries with a sand and gravel resource overlay on your Schedule A. And there are some woodlands shown on a portion of the property far away from where the subject severed portion and the receiving parcel is to be merged. And then Schedule C, your source protection, does not identify any high-risk areas on or adjacent to the property. So through this consent for the purpose of lot addition, the applicant is seeking to sever approximately 0.11 hectares of the larger 35-hectare subject property in order to combine that land with the adjacent property which they own that currently contains a house. And what they're looking to do is enlarge the property in order to install a new sewage disposal system. And that will help support the long-standing residential use on the property. The consent application was originally intended to be processed by a delegated authority back in May, But at the time, it was removed from the agenda, as there was one condition that came in from the county pertaining to land conveyance for road widening that needed to be clarified between the county and the applicant. That since has been clarified, the condition has been revised, everybody is happy, and that's how it's come back on. But because I do not have delegated authority, we're going through this formal process. After reviewing all of the policies, the zoning, the comments received from the various agencies, it's my opinion that the proposed lot creation does meet the policies of the county official plan and your township official plan. It's consistent with the policy direction of the provincial planning statement, and it complies with the requirements of the township zoning bylaw, with the understanding that the lot that is receiving this additional land is currently an undersized lot. That's been a historic condition, and it's actually improving the situation now that additional land is being added to it. So the current parcel that's receiving it is not 1 hectare in size, but with the addition, it's getting close to it. But it's an existing condition, and it's not of concern to us. Again, I'm not going to go through all the policy and zoning, but certainly happy to speak to it. There are 9 conditions. They're the same conditions, except for a new one was added from the delegated authority to include recognition from the Conservation Authority that should any development be proposed far away from where the proposed development is anticipated, that a permit would be required, and that's not anticipated to be the case, so it's merely just adding in a statement there. And so it's our recommendation that, with your consideration, that the application be approved.
Committee members have any questions or concerns? No? Okay, we need a motion to approve. To approve, Bob? Yes. Moved by Bob to approve. Do I have a seconder? Thanks, Dieter. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Carried.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will sit down and my colleague will join.
Next one is CON 2025-0018 Weiss, 761-777 Lake Road. We'll come tomorrow and get you, okay? Okay, Holly, floor is yours.
Right, good evening, everyone, and through the chair. My name is Holly Crawford, and together with my colleague Amy, I'm assisting the township with planning services. So tonight I'll be speaking to the consent application. This is actually a combined consent and minor variance application for the property addressed at 761 and 777 Lake Road. So I can start with the consent application. Did you want me to speak to both the consent and minor variance, or we'll do those separately?
I'd rather that we would do the minor variance and the consent separate.
Okay, so I'll be speaking to the consent application first. All right, so file consent 2025-0018 is an application for consent to sever a approximately 47 hectare rurally zoned property at the address that I mentioned to create a new lot. So the severed parcel is proposed at 26 hectares in area with a frontage of approximately 296 meters. Both the severed and retained lands are developed. Currently, the severed parcel is developed with a single detached house. One of the properties is developed with a single detached house, shed, silo, and 2 barns. And then the other parcel is developed with a single detached house and garage, and is currently being used for residential and agricultural uses. So speaking to the consent, Again, the application is proposing to sever the property, a 26-hectare parcel, and both residential and agricultural uses are proposed to continue on both properties. And then the retained parcel is approximately 21 hectares in area and 142.7 meters in frontage on Lake Road. And there are driveways on both, existing driveways on both parcels. And speaking to the consent specifically, again, both lots are developed, and our recommendation for the consent, excuse me. So the recommendation for the consent is that the consent application submitted by Zach Weiss as the applicant on behalf of the owners, Murray and Patricia Weiss, be provisionally approved as the application has regard to matters set out in subsection 5124 of the Planning Act, is consistent with the general purpose and intent of the County of Lennox and Addington official plan and the Township of Stone Mills official plan, and complies with the requirements of the zoning bylaw. Again, the approval is subject to the conditions that I've laid out. Again, and one thing I did want to just mention additionally about this application is that it is intended to resever a parcel which was previously separate properties and had merged on title. So no development is proposed through this application. And I'm happy to answer any further questions on the application for consent.
Okay, thanks, Holly. Committee members have any questions or concerns? The Weiss family have any questions or concerns? No? Okay, we need a motion to approve.
Yeah, I do have one question. Looking at this, the Severn sketch, and I'm looking at the aerial photography of the property. About halfway up to about close to 900 meters north of the road, there are fences between sort of the two either fields. So is your intent to use those fences as the property line? Because the sketch basically for the remainder, what is it, 766 meters till you hit the concession line is basically through virgin timber here. It doesn't really show anything. So I'm just concerned that the surveyor's just drawn an imaginary straight line and said, well, this is where we're going to put it, ignoring sort of, fence lines that tend to be boundary lines that would make sense.
That's right. And whenever I was talking to Jason, the lines are after, once you get past the barns, it's the fence road straight back. So it does follow the fence road.
Okay.
The laneway. We had to make the lot a little different shape as we came towards the barn in order to get the setbacks that we needed. But after, on the north end of the barns, it is straight
Basically follows the field fences. Yeah, that's always my concern, that the surveyor just does easier to survey if you go out in the field and try. Anyways, that's just my concern, but I appreciate that you are doing that. Thank you.
You okay now? Okay. We need a mover to approve and a seconder. Okay, thanks, Dieter. Seconded by Bob. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Carried. I'll say, I guess now we might as well jump to, just a minute, Brandy. Brandy, we got a minor variance. We might as well deal with the minor variance. We'll skip.
Can we do that?
Considering Aaron has declared conflict. Okay. minor variance 2025-0008, 761-777 Lake Road. Holly, go.
Thank you, and through the chair, so I'm happy to speak to the minor variance application on the 761-777 Lake Road property. So minor variance 0018 is proposed to facilitate the proposed lot creation. The lot boundary, as kind of discussed in the previous, for the consent, understand follows a fence line towards the house, and as the property line travels back, there is a silo and a barn. And so the minor variance is to address the existing buildings on the retained lands, and no development is proposed through the minor variance application. So the relief being sought from the zoning bylaw are for the minimum interior side yard for the silo and the westerly barn, the requirement being 10-meter setback, and the applicant proposing with the existing structures, proposing a 1-meter setback for the silo and a 6.9-meter setback for the westerly barn. I did want to note that the application was the application was submitted for these two variances as well as an additional variance for minimum distance setback. However, upon further review and communication with OMAFA on the specific situation, it was determined that the proposed consent is not subject to MDS1 calculations, as the existing residential and agricultural uses are intended to continue on both lots. I'm happy to answer any specific questions that there might be about the policies. And again, with both lots being existing and proposed for the existing uses, no development being put forward, there really are no new anticipated impacts through this minor variance application. So our recommendation is that the Committee of Adjustment approve minor variance application MV 2025-0008, subject to the conditions of approval as laid out in the report. As the application is minor in nature, is desirable and appropriate, it maintains the intent and purpose of the Township of Stone Mills official plan and the county official plan, and the Township's zoning bylaw. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Do any members have any questions? Yes, Dieter?
Just a clarification. I think I read it in the report that the reason there was no MDS is because both parcels are still going to be used for agricultural purposes. Is that my
Yes,
understanding?
that's my
Okay,
understanding.
thank you.
Yes, correct.
Anyone else? Something should have been done years ago. All right, we'll move her to seconder to approve. Moved by Bob, second by Dieter. All those in favor? Carried. Have a good evening. Now, the next one we have is, we've been asked to defer it. 2025-0019, Ben, 2381 County Road 1 East. Do we need any clarification why it was deferred? No one interested? No? Okay. Next one is minor variance. Pardon me? Right, sorry. We need a motion to defer that, sorry. Moved by Bob, seconded by Aaron. Can't turn my head the other way. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, next one, minor variance 2025-009, Clark, 35 Paradise Point Lane. You're on, Amy. Or Holly, sorry.
Thank you, and through the chair, I'm happy to present this minor variance application at 35 Paradise Point Lane. So application MV 0009, 2025-0009 has been submitted by owner Kevin Clark to facilitate the construction of an approximately 65 square meter detached garage on the property at 35 Paradise Point Lane. The property is zoned RLS, or Residential Limited Service. The applicant is seeking relief from the Township zoning bylaw for a reduction in lot area from 1 hectare to 850 square meters, and a reduction or an increase in lot coverage from 10% to 24.6%. So a little bit about the property itself. So the subject property is 850 square meters in area. It has frontage on Paradise Point Lane and also on Beaver Lake. So the primary front lot line, being the waterfront lot line, is 27.66 meters of frontage. And it also has 19.4 meters of frontage on Paradise Point Lane. So the subject property is currently developed with a single detached dwelling with a building area of approximately 144 square meters and is serviced by an existing septic system. The property is accessed by the private road, and our understanding is there could be a portion of the traveled road located on the subject lands, but the proposed garage is clear of that portion. The property is designated rural area in the county OP, it's designated rural in the township OP, and it's zoned residential limited service, as I mentioned, in the township zoning bylaw. So the proposal is for a 3.5 meter tall garage to be located in the southeastern corner of the lot, in line with the existing driveway, and as mentioned, clear of the traveled portion of any traveled portion of the road. The proposed garage is located 15 meters from the high water mark of Beaver Lake to the north, and then there's an additional water frontage towards the southwest, and it is also meets the 15 meter setback from both the floodplain and high water mark on both sides. So happy to speak further about the content of the application and the variances. Our recommendation is that the Committee of Adjustment approve minor variance application MV 2025-0009, subject to the conditions. As the application is minor in nature, it's desirable and appropriate, and it maintains the intent and purpose of the Township Stone Mills official plan and zoning bylaw. The conditions, subject to the conditions, one of the conditions being that the garage shall be set back 15 meters from the surveyed flood elevation. This elevation was provided by Quinty Conservation, and through their comments on the application, through the technical circulation, they did confirm that the application, the sketch illustrates the proposed garage, that the proposed garage will meet the floodplain setback allowance on each side. So I do believe that condition is satisfied, but I wanted to include the elevation in there, just for the record. Thank you, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Holly. We do have a letter from the property owner next door. Everyone aware of it? Yes, Peter?
Yeah, if you look at the architectural drawings, the northeast, southwest side views of the garage, it's quite evident that I think Cindy mentioned that he was concerned where the garage door was. It was definitely not on, not facing his property, it's the other side. I think that concern was probably taken care of, right? Okay.
Yes, through your chairperson, Clancy, it was, but he also wanted to confirm the setback from the interior lot line as well, to confirm what the setback was, which Holly provided in her reply. And prior to the meeting, we did not receive any amended comments from Mr. Peters.
You have any questions or concerns?
I have a question. This
That
is
surprises me.
this is a, what do they call it, a non-conforming lot of record, right? Is that the right terminology, kind of?
Yes,
Yeah, so the question is, why do we need a minor variance for the area? I don't understand. This has never come up before, so I'm just curious to why we need a minor variance for the area when it is it's a lot of record. It's non-conforming, but it's legal non-conforming. Is that the term or something like that?
that's correct. Yeah, legal, yeah. Yeah, happy to speak to that. So in my review of the zoning bylaw, section 3.8 of the zoning bylaw does permit the development of a lot that is undersized per the zone requirements. So for example, the RLS zone requiring 1 hectare. Section 3.8 of the bylaw speaks to permitting development on lots that are undersized, provided that they're a minimum of 1,400 square meters and a minimum frontage, I believe, of 22 meters. And in this case, through my reading of the zoning bylaw, this lot is undersized in area, being 850 square meters. So it does fall below that benchmark of 1,400, but the frontage is met for that. So I did have to introduce the variance for the undersized lot. The variance is to the original lot area. The section 3.8 actually speaks to needing relief from the zoning bylaw for lots under those sizes, under 1,400 square meters and under 22 meters of frontage. So some municipalities, it's across the board. If the lot's existing, whatever size it is, it can be developed. But in Township of Stone Mills, I see that there is that extra kind of level of review needed to happen on lots which are below 1,400 square meters. So that's why that's part of the reason that this application is before you, because I've reviewed that this undersized lot can accommodate this development appropriately. It's developed with a septic system already. There's various
Okay.
things that need to go in place. I hope
Okay,
that.
I'm satisfied, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just curious. I'm not, it's part of the, it's in there somewhere in the fine print, so that's great. Thanks very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Anyone else? And a mover and a seconder to approve, moved by Bob, seconded by, thank you, Aaron. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Carried. You're on your way.
Now maybe a WH golf somewhere by Christmas.
Anyone have any other business for the committee? I see we have a development services coordinator, Stephanie Light. I think that's just for our information. Yeah. Anyone else have anything for the committee? I do. Surprise. I understand that, I guess this is probably to Brandy. The township has taken on Arcadis to do the planning for now. What's the plans for the future?
I'll let CAO White speak.
Pardon me?
I'll let CAO White speak to
Through you, Chair, the plans are to continue to enhance our planning capacity as we can. We have posted the position of an internal planner a couple of times now and have not been satisfied with filling it at this time. So that position is going to be reposted. And then we have also released a RFP to entertain interested parties in a more long-term planning support role. And we're just in the standard time frame for how long we will typically post an RFP before we can start going into the details of the strength of respondents and selection. But we are exploring multiple opportunities or paths simultaneously in order to try and shore up our planning capacity and provide the level of service that we would hope to provide. Arcadis has come in hot, I guess, in the middle of a number of open files, has done a considerable amount of work to get up to speed, and there's still some work to be done to pick up where some of the files were, and so we're doing our best to provide good service to residents, but we also recognize that we're not at the level that that many have come to expect from the township, and that is a challenge that we're working through right now.
Thank you, Jason. Well, I have to say, from the meeting tonight, Arcadis has picked up the ball and run with it quite well. Yeah, it was very thorough, and I enjoyed it. Anyone else have any concerns, questions? No? Okay, I guess we need a move to adjourn.
We need a motion to accept the business.
Pardon me?
We need a motion to accept the notice about Stephanie and first, and then we can do a motion.
A motion for which?
You need a motion for the recommendation first, for number 10, and then we can do a motion to.
Okay, I just thought that was, okay, I thought the township council would taken care of that. We didn't have to do that.
No, you can do a motion for that.
Okay. All right, well, they say we need a motion to hire Stephanie Light.
No, just a motion to accept the information.
Or we might as well go all the way. Okay, I'll change it. Do we have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Bob, seconded by Dieter. Thank you. Okay, now we need a motion to adjourn. Moved by Aaron, thank you. Seconded by Bob. Everyone have a good evening.